What is up, guys and girls? Welcome to episode number 103 of The Nonsense Review. I'm your host, as always, Devon, and joining me, equally as always, is Rick.
Hello, everyone.
And today we are going to be watching the very first episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries, because why the fuck not?
Yeah, we talked about this multiple times on the podcast before. More it's you reminding me that it exists, and the whole thing about, this is Mike Tyson! Mike Tyson! He can kill us!
Dude, a big part of the reason why this show is great is because Norm Macdonald is fucking hilarious, even as just his deadpan delivery in everything he does is just so fucking funny to me.
Yeah. I think everything he's been in, he's played essentially the same character, and it's always fantastic.
I bring it up often, but one of my favourite jokes he used to do on his podcast was he used to make the joke of he's in Hollywood now, so he's always got an extra £30 of weight in case they need to cast a fat guy. Despite the fact all of his roles were as a voice actor. Such a silly joke, but I loved it. Anyway, we can gush about Norm Macdonald all day, every day. However, we're not. That's not the goal of this podcast. The goal of this podcast is to review things. But before we do that, if you're a fan of the show, you already know what we like to do is briefly touch upon our weeks and the goings on in the wide world. So with that in mind, Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
I have done incredibly little this week, other than get mad at Amazon. I was promised a next day delivery on something, and then I got told, oh, it's not going to appear till March. So that's got cancelled. And I'm now one step closer towards repairing my computer, which has been in bits for quite some time. However, out in the wide world, there's a few things. Have you heard of the Sámi?
Can't say I have.
They are a tribe of peoples around, Scandinavia, Finland, and they reach all the way into, Western Russia. And they have requested, rather forcefully, that Final Fantasy XIV pulls one of their costumes because it infringes on their culture.
Okay. You're going to have to explain more than not at all, Rick, because I'm not familiar with any of this.
So, the costume that was released just looks like it looks like a lot of the winter style clothing, except more kiltish at the bottom for males and females. And the costume that has been made looks kind of cool, but what they're trying to do is say, okay, the people that we let use our look, they've all negotiated it, you didn't. So they're demanding that Square Enix remove the far northern attire from the Crystal Shop.
This is a weird story. I get it, infringing on someone's culture is not cool. However, I wouldn't be surprised if some designer just saw images of these people and went, that's a cool outfit, I'm going to make it.
Yes.
I feel like all of this can be solved with a conversation, and that's probably about it. It sounds like it's not even a deal with money, it's just, hey, could you not? Could you ask first?
That costume can be very easily retooled as the same thing, but without certain designs on it, because, if you change the male version to not having a kilt, then it's obviously not trying to invoke that look.
It's a weird one, because I'd never heard of this tribe of people, or this culture, so with that in mind, I get it, but could you imagine if you had, a Scottish kilting game, and Scotland went, no, you can't do this! Do you know what I mean? It would be ludicrous. So yeah, it's a weird one. I can see both sides on this one. Also, I've not seen the article in question, so I don't know how similar the look is.
Also on the page of FF14, they have dropped a teaser for the anime.
I didn't know it was getting an anime.
Yep, I'll link you to this later. It looks really nicely animated, so I'm looking forward to them doing more of this. It looks neat.
Tell me one thing. What does it look like the anime's focusing on?
The promo didn't say whether it was basically a retelling of the story or not, or whether it's just like life in Eorzea.
But did it show you any characters?
Most of the characters that I've seen just look like OCs for now.
Okay, so it's probably not following the Scions, which I think is the only part of the franchise that most people care about.
Yeah. And the last thing I was going to say is, are you familiar with the lore of Yosemite Sam?
Okay, I didn't click on this, but because I use Firefox, they have just random articles on the main page, just like, hey, do you want to look at this? And it said, hey, did you know Yosemite Sam is taking the piss out of Jews? And I'm like, what?
So, turns out, no, he's not taking the piss out of Jews. He was created by a Jew who modelled Yosemite Sam on himself, and...
Are you trying to tell me that there was some fucker who really had, a big ginger fucking moustache?
He had small person syndrome, and I think he was like Texan or something, and but he happened to be Jewish, and he modeled it on himself, being angry, and thought, okay, it would be pretty cool to have this character be a villain for Bugs Bunny, who is also a New York kind of guy, and New York is more or less the hotbed of Jewish culture, just seeping into every other part of the universe. But the other thing that points towards it is that his real name is listed as Samuel Rosenbaum.
That's a very Jewish second name.
Yeah, but that wasn't until like the 2010s or something that it was actually listed.
Oh, it's like Comic Book Guy, isn't it? It's like, this is his real name, but we've said it once in a throwaway line 7 years ago and then never brought it up since. So it is his name, but no one gives a shit.
It's not quite as interesting as the Hello Kitty lore, but yeah, it was something that tickled my interest. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. How about you? How has your week been, and what have you seen out in the wide, wide world?
Yeah, my week's also been a bit boring, truth be told, but hey, we'll get on with it. As you know, Rick, last week we watched the very first episode of Dinosaurs.
We did.
Thanks to some effort on your part, we managed to salvage the episode.
It wasn't as much effort as you normally put in.
It wasn't so much that as I literally didn't have time to manually correct everything, whereas you did, and you did it overnight as well, and I was like, you're a crazy person, but you stay up at weird hours anyway. The reason why I bring it up is I actually really enjoyed watching Dinosaurs, so I've watched the entire first season since then, just in the background while I was doing other things, and some of, not all, of the messages are still pretty relevant today, let's be real, and it's just a fun time. Go watch Dinosaurs.
Yeah. It's one of those things where both of the kids, obviously not the baby because it's a baby, but both of the kids are actually likable characters.
Sort of. I've not seen the daughter shine too many times because she's kind of playing that stereotypical
bratty daughter, give me money, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Every time her story comes up, it's, Daddy, can I have money? And it's like, oh, fuck off! I've also booted up the virtual Game Boy on the Switch.
Yep.
I wanted to play that. I wanted to play Golden Coins again. I played it for a bit, but fuck that. One of my favourite things is they decided to just say fuck it, and they emulate the shit green screen that the Game Boy used to be on.
Yeah, they do. Apparently later you're going to have the option for changing it between green screen, the Super Game Boy, that put it in black and white, or the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, they need the Game Boy Color option if they're planning on actually releasing Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, it was a struggle in black and white. It was way better when you had the...
Don't get me wrong, the colours were shit on the Game Boy Color, but at least you could tell at a glance, purple, that means it's psychic.
Yeah, it's yellow, it's electric, it's red, it's probably fire.
But yeah, it's fun. I don't think they should have bothered emulating the shitty green screen, but I get it's probably going to be a nostalgia kick for some people.
Yeah.
It was Valentine's Day last week, Rick. Well, this week, I should say, whatever. The reason why I bring that up is, hey, there was actually good music at work for once.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah, just every so often you got some fucking Meatloaf songs, and I was like, yeah! And then it went back to generic pop, and I was like, nah.
Was it the Lay You Down on a Bed of Roses track?
No, it was I'll Do Anything for Love, and
okay.
Dead Ringer for Love was on there as well. They're good songs. You didn't get like Bat Out of Hell, but that's not really a romance song. It's a good song, but it's not romantic.
Yeah. The other ones actually mention the word love, so yeah, I can understand why someone who's putting together the countrywide radio station would actually just stick it in the mix, because they normally have like a rolling list of like 100 songs, don't they?
Oh, dude, like I said, I can tell what time roughly it is just by what shitty pop track is playing. Mostly because I Wanna Be Your Lover plays 3 times a night sometimes, and it does my fucking head in. Rick, you ready for some news?
Yeah, let's shall.
Blackadder's coming back, sort of, but not really.
Good.
Comic Relief is coming up. If you're not British, Comic Relief is once every other year. It's basically a big old comedy show to raise money for various charity causes. Usually stuff in Africa, but it also hits closer to home as well.
Yeah.
The reason why I say it's coming back, sort of, but not really, is because it's going to be a one-off sketch for Comic Relief. And
sure.
As of right now, it's only Baldrick that's signed up, so... every news article is like, Tony Robinson will play Baldrick again. Everyone's like, cool. What about Rowan Atkinson? He's probably not going to show up. And it's like, so how the fuck is it Blackadder then?
I guess it could just be Blackadder's obituary in a world where everyone else survives. Because Blackadder always dies. That's kind of the gag. And normally everyone dies.
He doesn't die at the end of 3 or 2. Oh, well, he dies at the end of 2, but so does everyone.
Yeah, they all die.
But season 3, he lives. I mean, okay, technically Blackadder, quote-unquote, dies, but it's not. It's Prince George.
Yes.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I guess Blackadder does die at the end of each one, but hey-ho. I don't know if I'll watch it. What I'll probably do is I'll check the sketch out on YouTube once it comes out.
Yeah.
Rick, this is not a wrestling podcast.
Okay.
Jerry Jarrett has passed away at the age of 80.
Aww.
Jerry Jarrett, not to be confused with his son Jeff Jarrett, because yeah, I can understand why some people might get confused. Was a bit before my time. He was a big promoter in the 80s specifically. He ran the Memphis territory. Basically, him and Jerry the King Lawler pretty much built that shit and dominated it. And yeah, eventually he sold out and moved on, and Vince McMahon gobbled up everything. Yeah, he's basically been a constant figure in wrestling since the 80s. Not so much on screen, but so much as giving advice and running companies.
Yeah, fair enough.
His passing is noticeable. The thing I worry about with these independent, or rather territory promoters going away, as in actually passing on and dying, is I would not be surprised if at some point we will have a generation where people forget that's how wrestling used to be.
Oh, absolutely. That exact same thing happens in pretty much every sport. Like, even football, for instance, there was a generation that was nowhere near as highly paid as footballers are today. And even that generation that are like on their way out now are incredibly bitter at the current generation that are just pissing away their fortunes.
Yeah, I can't blame them. Like, it's something my dad used to point out with the winning team of the World Cup 1966, which England will never shut the fuck up about. You're just going to have to live with it, foreigners.
Yep.
Where most of the people who played in that squad had full-time jobs.
Yes.
Like, I'm a baker on fucking on Wednesday to Friday. On the weekend, I'll play football with the lads. Hey, we're best in the world.
Yeah, like, man, the number of people who just ride the coattails of 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup, doodah. It's rather sad, actually, because the people that say that were in neither of the World Wars, and statistically, I'm betting none of them were in the World Cup either.
Yeah, probably not, Rick. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm lamenting the fact that the history of wrestling might get forever warped and forgotten, but you bringing that up, I do believe we've no longer got any British servicemen, as in people who served during World War I, still alive. They're all gone.
No, there was when I was at school.
Yes, there was when I was at school as well. I think there was 3 left when I was in school.
Yeah. And that's absolutely the end of an era. And now we're on the dwindling numbers of World War II. But that's like let's really hope that the people that were winning the war in World War II stick around for a long ass time.
And the only saving grace of World War I, the veterans who are no longer with us, is there was a concentrated effort to preserve some of their legacy in the forms of not just the historical artifacts, because museums are all over the UK focusing on that sort of thing, but the BBC. I will shit on the BBC all day every day, but there is some great archive. It's not footage, it's audio of interviews with these chaps, remembering their times in the trenches, which couldn't have been easy for them either, but thank fuck they actually shared such experiences.
Yeah. Doing interviews with people like that is absolutely vital for maintaining an insight into something that was so formative for the absolute building blocks of the 20th century.
And that's about it for news this week. Sorry we got a bit dour at the end there, but that's what talking about death and history tends to get you. So I'm going to throw it over to Rick to explain what we're doing today.
Yeah, today we're watching Mike Tyson Mysteries. It's Season 1, Episode 1, The End. 3, 2, 1, and go.
I mean, I already laughed before we started. I just love that naming convention of, what's the name of the first episode? The End.
Yeah, it is. Man, look at the Scooby-Doo van. Oh, pterodactyl!
I mean, it's literally just, I think the on the note paper when they're thinking of a show, it's just like Scooby-Doo, ? Mike Tyson, ! And yeah, a lot of these episodes will end with Mike Tyson just knocking someone the fuck out.
Yeah, and he just, like, the boxing gloves are optional, it seems.
Yeah. But now seems like a good time to reveal that I've never actually watched a full episode of this, so I don't know if it's actually a good show or not. I've only ever watched highlights.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look at Pigeon chilling on the pool with a beer.
Okay, so she's an adoptive daughter, I assume.
Yes.
Or a real daughter.
She's adopted. She's adopted in the worst way possible. She got left on Mike Tyson's doorstep during some big event. It might have been the Super Bowl. And it just had a really badly written note saying, "Please look after my daughter, Mr. Tyson." And that was it. And Tyson just went, "Okay, I guess I got a baby now."
Hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah, there's the law dump.
They also did it for Pigeon as well. The reason why Pigeon can talk is he's a man who's been trapped in the body of a pigeon because his ex-wife was a bitch.
Because his ex-wife was a bitch.
I think they're actually technically still married, and it's because he was constantly cheating on her. So, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, cool. This is like Archer, where they bleep out the fucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot of words.
Have you ever gotten a message like that, Rick, where it's just a big old bunch of text like that, and it's like, oh, they couldn't have formatted this better?
Oh, yeah, it's, apparently it's a sign of ADHD.
Oh.
If people just, like, give you a fucking cube of text. Like, an entire thesis with, like, nary a full stop.
The only saving grace here is he did have to fit it onto a message that had to be delivered by pigeon.
Yeah, so it couldn't, have a spine and multiple pages.
But at the same time, you can probably more concisely write most of that.
Yeah. Can't be a real song.
Listen, I like Mike Tyson, but I think his tattoo is not very good. But I like that his shitty tattoo is on the side of his van.
Yeah.
Hey, and guess what? I also didn't like it when Zell had it.
Yeah. Face tattoos are a bit much.
The only face tattoo I've ever liked was that bald British bloke who was a little bit fat, who had a full English breakfast tattooed on the top of his head.
A full English breakfast?
Because, yeah, it didn't look good, but at least it was funny.
Hey, he's rocking it.
Hey, man, I think every man, or, anyone who's got a bit of child left in them will be like, I'm in Texas and you can just buy a cowboy outfit for $50. I'm going to be a cowboy today.
Yeah. And most of that, actually, no, you can't buy it for $50. Like, most of it's going to be the boots, and they can be upwards of $300.
You know what I mean, though.
But yeah, like, the local fashion is,
dude, I'll tell you what it is.
Encouraged?
It's exactly the same as those weeaboos who go to Japan and fucking instantly buy a yukata.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing, except cowboy.
As long as you don't buy a basket hat, it's fine.
Yeah. Writer's block sucks.
It does.
And I don't even do it professionally, so...
No. Yeah, I say we're DMs. I'm only a prospective DM at the moment.
Dude, when I got white writer's block, I have the luxury of just going, oh, fuck it, I'm just not going to write then. I'm going to go play video games.
Yeah.
You do it to earn your crust, you've got writer's block, you're like, oh, fuck. The next day and a half is going to suck.
That's a lot of booze.
For such a little body. That's really fucking... A Pulitzer is not something you can just get.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's terrible. I didn't even imagine that there was two ways to say that word.
Well, it was the gag that the ghost guy said when they got in here.
Oh, I've completely missed that. Oh, that sucks.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck do you do that? If you're a professional writer good enough for a Pulitzer, but you don't know how to use quotation marks.
Yeah, I mean, you can list things in indirect speech. Look how excited he is that there's now a mystery.
I love Mike Tyson. It's just like, hey man, I can't help with writing, but I can sure as shit beat the fuck out of a monster. Look how giddy he is.
Yeah, like as soon as he got a smile on his face, like you knew he was going to have a good time right now.
I love how they've given it the infrared fucking green glow, as if just to show you that, hey, it's actually pitch black right now, despite the fact it's a fucking cartoon, so it don't matter.
Yeah, instead of the usual thing where they make everything blue.
Yeah.
Where if the viewer can see everything, then surely the characters can.
That's a fucking gross looking monster. Wait, what? Why did they it's suddenly not? Oh, whatever. Fuck.
Yeah. The green screen has ended.
This is literally Mike Tyson is literally just fucking Goku right now going.
I'm gonna in the dick.
I'm gonna kick you in the
awesome.
dick.
I'm gonna kick you in the schnoz.
Did you also hear that stock fucking sound effect for dinosaur screeches?
Yes, I did. I think it's the one that they use in Power Rangers quite often.
Yeah, maybe. Don't fuck around with horses. What the what? This is ridiculous. I don't know who that is.
Me either.
Hey man, don't fuck around with horses.
No, they can kick you a lot harder.
You will die.
Hmm.
What?
Oh, another ghost.
Oh, it's the Mexican guy that died earlier.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't know how quotation marks worked.
Yeah, because he's a shit writer.
Just because you work for someone doesn't mean you can emulate their writing style unless you're an editor, and even then, editing is a completely different skill set to writing.
I'll extend that to just because you work for someone doesn't mean you're qualified to do their entire job.
Jesus, like it's literally exactly the same concept of like those people who are like, do you know who my dad is? That means I can do the thing that he does. It's like, no, it fucking doesn't. Hey man, my dad's a United States Marine. It's like, okay, is he here? You know?
Yeah. Have you gone through this training? No. Oh, it's a Pegasus as well. a Pegasus Centaur.
This is such a stoner show, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Oh, anyone who can mock themselves is okay in my book. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, I think we should address the elephant in the room in that, like, Mike Tyson is a convicted felon.
Oh, he's a crazy person.
I don't want to dive too much into his court case because there's some things that don't add up. However, at the end of the day, he was convicted. So just bear that in mind. I'm not excusing what he did. I'm just saying I'm aware of it. And, yeah. That's the end of the episode. So, Rick, what do you think of the episode?
It was reasonable. I think I'd probably have to watch it again to get the jokes, but to be honest, it was just an introductory episode to get your feet wet and think, okay, if you like this, then just go watch the other episodes. So, sure, now that I've got a taste for it, yes, I might watch the other ones now. How about you? What do you think?
It was okay. It was pretty decent. The fact that it's 10 minutes definitely works in its favour. I imagine if they tried to stretch it longer than 10 minutes, it would get really stale.
Yeah, I feel you.
As someone who's watched plenty of clips from later seasons and later episodes, there's moments that get crazier in the future, and there's moments that are a lot calmer. So it's a very wide range of bullshit that can go on in this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just a little bit of tidbit for you, Rick. Canonically, in Mike Tyson Mystery Adventures, Mike Tyson's brother is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
Just letting you know. That's one of the better gags down the line.
Oh, man, stupid.
Yeah. So, let's do our usual rundown, Rick? Let's start off with our favourite moments.
My favourite moment was when Mike was very obviously giddy and happy that he could now present his best skills for solving the problem at hand. And he was the happiest he was in the entire episode from then on. But yeah, how about you? What was your favourite moment?
I've got to agree with you. Like, seeing Mike Tyson's face light up at the prospect of knocking someone the fuck out is so on point to the character and weirdly charming.
Yeah. The head muscle ain't so good, but the arm muscle, oh yeah, that's in tip-top shape.
Oh, it sure fucking is. Oh.
Yeah.
Remember the last time we brought up Mike Tyson, you literally messaged me after the episode saying, wow, fucking, what are the odds? And it's just an article of Mike Tyson gets harassed on plane, knocks a motherfucker out. But yes, we can't only talk about the good, we must also talk about the bad. Rick, do you have a weakest link for me, buddy?
I think for an introductory episode, it wasn't that strong of one. So they kind of didn't weave together character origins as well as they could have. But that's kind of a really, really weakest link in terms of something that was bad, because I generally enjoyed it.
I mean, just going on what you said very quickly, like, it's a 10-minute long episode for a series of 10-minute long episodes, and about a minute at the beginning was spent just saying, this is why who everyone is, this is why Mike Tyson has these people living/working with him. A minute of this episode is 10% of the runtime.
Yeah, sure.
Not to take away from your criticism, I totally get where you're coming from, but I think it was serviceable.
But yeah, how about you? What was your weakest link?
My weakest link was, it's going to be a weird one, to be honest, because there wasn't really anything glaringly poor with the show. So it works for its favour, but it's also a bit detrimental in the fact that due to the short runtime, they have to bang out plot points and jokes one after the other very quickly. There's very little time to just rest and sit and absorb. It ultimately works to its favour, but it means they just have to constantly bang those out.
Like, for instance, the bird sex song, that was a reasonably fun gag, and they were able to stretch it out for more than like 2 seconds.
Yeah. But then, instantly the next part is Pigeon perving on a I think they were meant to be Mexican maid, and then breaking the Pulitzer, and it's all just bang, 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 bang. So yeah, we don't like to end on a poor note, we like to end on a high. So with that in mind, Rick, do you have an MVP for me?
If you're watching Mike Tyson Mysteries and Mike Tyson isn't your MVP, then you're not watched Mike Tyson Mysteries. It's going to be Mike Tyson. Like, as you said, someone who can take the piss out of themselves and still make something enjoyable. All right, in both of our books, really. How about you? Who's your MVP?
I so desperately want to give it to Pigeon because I know he's the funniest character on the show. However, in this particular episode, it definitely goes to Mike Tyson. He was the highlight.
Yeah, it's one of those. It wasn't a very strong episode for Pigeon, so yeah, I think double award to Mike is apt.
Don't get me wrong, Pigeon isn't always the best part of the show, because there's some episodes where his big joke is he's got the shits and he just shits everywhere. I distinctly remember there's one time where he goes, "Could we please hurry up? I really need to use the bathroom," and he just poos and goes, "Oh wait, I'm a pigeon." Not always highbrow humour, shall we say.
As you say, stoner show.
It really is. Like, even the fact that it's 10 minutes lends credit to that. So yeah, I guess that's it for Mike Tyson Mystery Adventures. Hopefully next week we'll be able to watch something a bit longer, because right now we're having issues, probably because of Rick's laptop and computer explodey issue. But for now, we're going to say goodbye. Don't forget, down below you've got the comment section on YouTube. If you're not watching via YouTube but instead listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can instead send an email. Where would they send an email to, Rick?
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Ding ding ding, we have a winner. We'll see you next week for chicken dinner.
Ta-ra!